Hello, beautiful souls. It's Dr. Danny, physician astrologer, back from the desert. Oh my goodness, what a good time we had. The top of my head's cut off, and I'm not sure why. I might have to shrink down here a little bit. Anyway, it's good to see you guys. Those of you that are new subscribers, welcome to the channel. Those of you that are already subscribers and members, especially the members, shout out to you guys. It's good to be back, isn't it? Oh my gosh, I've missed you all. I've missed the live energy. When you take a break from your life and you're allowed to sort of go into the flow a little bit, it really is just a great time to step back, collect yourself, and then just come back refreshed and ready to go. So, the conversation we're going to have tonight is very deeply based in astrology. It's a deep dive into this very, very complicated full moon that is actually tomorrow. Hopefully, you guys have been doing the work and have started your lunar cycle at the new moon. But, here we are, full moon right around the corner, and there's some intense energies in it. So, I'm going to go through all of it. I'm going to help you guys get through this. First of all, we have the full moon in Ophiuchus, which is awesome for 13 sign astrology because there is a ton of curiosity out there about Ophiuchus. I hear my phone. That usually means there's something. Okay, we're 5 by 5. Good. Awesome. It means we get to talk about Ophiuchus, the energy of the ascended masters. I see so much stuff on YouTube and Facebook about the current full moon being in Sagittarius when it's not. It's in Ophiuchus. We have to pause. We have to reflect. We have to really, really feel what this energy is like. So we're going to do that today. We'll probably go about an hour, maybe a little bit longer. What I wanted to do with this particular live stream was, of course, to interact with you guys. I'm going to say hello to y'all in a few minutes, but I wanted to give you an opening reflection, do the astrology, and then do a closing reflection. And the title of this talk is Practical Mysticism, basically on the edge of chaos or something like that. And that's really the way I felt this lunar cycle play out for me. This was a 5th and 11th house lunation for me and an 11th house and 5th house lunation for my husband. And we spent the better part of 15 days together, driving almost 3,500 miles from the white sands of New Mexico to the southern parks of Utah, Zion National Park, back through Albuquerque and then Austin and then home. So we have been on quite a journey and it's been just wonderful. We really used that Mars trine Venus energy to reconnect and to grow and evolve in our own relationship. And it's been just a wonderful experience. So I'm excited to be back. So what I'll do during these reflections is share with you some of the driving movies that I took. You really won't be able to see it the way my eyes saw it and remember it the way my brain remembered it. But maybe some of the energy or the feeling or the vibration of it will come through for you in a way that you can, feel it the way I did. So let's see who's here. All right. We've got 22 already. That's awesome. Y'all missed me. We have Sprout Queen here. Good evening, fellow starseeds. Beth Hansen's here. All right. Hello, Star Family. Jeffrey Critchley, hello from North Queensland, Australia. Awesome. It must be, 8 in the morning there for you guys. Fellow travelers also back. Hola, hola. Ultima says 5 by 5. Thank you, my dear. Desiree's here. Hello, everyone. Fellow traveler says Chicago. I thought your shirt said Coachina. No, it's just a little Chicago bling. I actually really like the fabric in this t-shirt. Ultima says, greetings, Star Seeds. Desiree says, hello to Sprout Queen. Everyone says hello to Beth Hansen. Monday Born Mentality says, greetings. Silvana B has a birthday tomorrow in Australia. That's awesome. Actually, well, okay, so today is the 11th in Australia for you. Awesome. Well, happy solar return. All right, Christine Yans here. Grand Day, Dr. Danny, Ultimus Desiree, and all the cosmic beautiful souls. Oh, so good to see all of you. Man, I'm excited to do this. Yeah, this trip was so good. I got a new necklace, a new crystal necklace. I also got a new singing bowl that is a crystal singing bowl. So I'm very excited to play with that. It has a crown chakra symbol on it. But yeah, so we left on Sunday night or Sunday morning 2 weeks ago and got to Alamogordo, New Mexico around 7 in the evening. Crashed in the hotel, spent the day at White Sands, and I got to see my uncle, who I have not seen in 25 years. And it was so delightful to see him and his wife. And I'm really excited just to have that connection again with him. He's one of my favorite uncles. So we did that. And then after that, we drove to Four Corners and stayed in Ute Mountain, Utah, or Colorado, and spent the night there. Then we packed up and left again and went to the Four Corners. And we stood in all the four corners. So you guys got to see those little shorts I did. And then after that, we got to Page, Arizona, which was amazing. And we had to drive through the entire northern half of the Navajo Nation to get there. And the scenery was striking. I mean, just the red dirt, the skies. When there were these low-hanging clouds, the red sands would reflect their light and the bottom of the clouds would reflect the red back down. The sunsets were amazing. The time changes were a little bit weird because Arizona doesn't follow daylight savings and the Navajo Nation does. And there's a lot of spots where you're in and out. So you don't even really know what time it is. But what's so amazing about that whole area is there's no electromagnetic radiation, really. I mean, there's relatively none compared to what I'm sitting in right now. I have 4 screens in front of me, and just the stark, rugged beauty of the countryside, the Indian Territory. And then when you cross into something that's United States and populated, you can see this stark difference. It's really amazing. And even some neighborhoods back up right up against it. So it was fun to sort of see that duality. And we spent a few days in Page and then spent 5 days in St. George and then drove back through Albuquerque. So that was our trip. I just had a good time. We hiked, we biked, we kayaked, we rode a boat, we went in a helicopter. It was just an absolutely wonderful, wonderful time. So let's see. Who else is here? We've got 28 now. Good. We've got Lisa Rangel. Hello, hello. Thanks for coming. The full moon is tonight in Australia. Good. Well, this is right on time for all of our Down Under brothers and sisters. All right, good. Well, let me get into this. Let me do this. Let me share my screen. I've got the video ready to go, and I will share with you just sort of an opening reflection to get us in the mood for this astrology, for this moon. And I did write this out. I had a lot of time to write, so it was really, really nice. You guys are in for a real treat tonight. You're not going to get a read like this on the full moon anywhere on the internet, I promise. Here we go. Okay, so we'll hide that. Pull that up. Let me make sure you guys can see that. All right. Good, good. So let's hit play. There's no sound with this. You're just going to listen to me begin the reading. So after a deeply nourishing road trip through the elemental landscapes of the Southwest, I'm back, recalibrated, inspired, and ready to transmit. Something opened in me while I was away. The red rocks, the rivers, the wide skies reminded me that time bends, the earth speaks, and the cosmos is always calling us to remember who we really are. I received ancient codes in the desert. Some of them were silent, some arrived through dreams, and all of them felt alive. And in hindsight, it feels as if I stepped outside the weight of this lunation. While many have been moving through intensity, purging, releasing, confronting deep karmic material, I have been in a liminal space, witnessing from the edge of the spiral, the edge of the world, not bypassing, not ignoring, just metabolizing the energy in a different way. And that, to me, is personal alchemy. That is practical mysticism. It was such an awesome landscape to drive through. So amazing. So now as I return to the rhythm of receiving and transmitting, I feel the energy in the sky surging. This is such an intense moon. This Ophiuchus moon is not gentle. It's a reckoning. It's a karmic crossroads. It brings us face to face with the question of embodiment. Will we continue performing identities we no longer resonate with? Or will we align with what is truly alive within us, even if it's messy, even if it's unfamiliar? Practical mysticism asks us not just to read the chart, but to live it, and not just the chart, the sky. To recognize that when the moon is in Ophiuchus, it's in our body, it's in our dreams, it's in our gut, it's connected to us through the ether. To feel the way this planetary tension is mirrored in our relationships, our bodies, and our choices. The serpent energy is rising now, and the sky is not here to coddle us because it offers raw and unfiltered truth if we are willing to look. So today, I want to walk you guys through this chart intellectually, energetically, emotionally, and spiritually. This is a really deep dive, you guys. I spent several hours on this. I want to explore the way that this lunation calls us into remembrance, into embodiment, and into the next expression of who we came here to be. And I want to offer space to reflect, to breathe, and to choose with clarity. So that's the power of this full moon. It's the power of practical mysticism. So maybe the second video will speed it up. All right, let's look at the sky real quick because it's always good to check in and see what the sky shows us. This is my sky during the full moon, and it is stellarium-web.org. So I'm going to put this down. And there it is. You can see it. If we put the art in, it's a little bit easier to see. The ecliptic is angled in such a way that you can see Capricorn, Sagittarius, Scorpio, and then there's Ophiuchus. There's the foot. There's the thing that disrupts this karmic wheel that shows us that all this karma is simply just the desire to do the job of whatever it is this sign embodies. And it's okay. It's okay to need to do that work. And it is okay to rest and to break free and to set your boundaries. This is a very powerful place in the sky. This is the galactic center. This is the Golden Gate. Ancient cultures for millennia, since we could write and read and talk to one another, have talked about this space in the sky, whether they called it the serpent or the dragon or the Scorpio or Cygnus or the bird or the phoenix. It's all the same thing. It's an energy that disrupts. So now when a disruption comes, here's the real lesson. It's not like, oh my God, what's going to happen to me? It's okay. I feel a disruption coming. How am I going to work with it? What can I disrupt in a constructive way that aligns with who I truly am and what it is I'm here to do? So there's the moon, and you can't put this moon in Sagittarius right now. The tropical astrologers are saying this is Sagittarius, and they do realize that their signs don't align with the sky. The good tropical astrologers will say that to you. They say it's just a reference system that's based on the seasons. But I love this cosmic astrology, especially when we have a moon here or a sun here or another luminary, because it allows us to open our awareness to the Ophiuchus energy. Beautiful stuff. I just love this. I really love Ophiuchus moons. This is when I am usually deep in thought and considering and writing. So you all are going to get a very deep side of me that you haven't seen in a little while. I had to restart my computer before I came on today, but it looks like I did everything right here. So, all right, here's our presentation. We'll run through this, and then I'll do one more reflection with you at the end, and then we'll check in if you guys have any questions. So here it is, a full moon in Ophiuchus. And I love the desert in the background. It's so fitting, the white serpent that we've been working with over the last few months. And again, happy birthday, Silvana. And also happy birthday to my dad. His birthday is tomorrow too. So shout out to Dad if you're listening. Mom, if you're listening, please let Dad know. But I'll call you tomorrow. Here are some resources while you all watch this. If you want to participate with your own chart, you can go to stellarium-web.org, where we just were, and you can type in your own birth date, or you can align that sky to your own birth sky. You can align it to the 11th wherever you live to see where it is for you. You can also look at theskylive.com and look at a 3D model version of the solar system if that interests you. It's just a model of a way to look at the sun, the moon, and the planets from above or below. You can also go to drdanny.com/free chart. Run your own birth chart. I don't even need your email. Your natal birth chart with the 13 signs and the true sky will be displayed on the screen for you. So you can screenshot that and keep that for yourself and look and see where all your energies are. You can also join the fellowship of, why did I have 12 sign astrology? That is hilarious. Okay, look, I did this today. It's called the Fellowship of 13 Sign Astrology on Facebook. So please join us there. And you can enroll in some courses to learn more about this kind of astrology at learn.drdanny.com. You can also get the 13th sign, Ophiuchus, and the astrology they don't want you to see. That was the opening book commercial at the beginning of this video. You can go to drdanny.com to get that book. I have it in print, Audible, or audio, which I narrated, and ebook as well. So if you do get a book, get two, because you might want to give one to someone after you read yours. You'll want to spread the information, but also keep it as a reference book for yourself. So here's what we are going to tease out of this chart. I haven't even showed you the chart yet. There is a full moon mystic square with the lunar nodes, Rahu and Ketu. There's a golden phoenix yod. So those of you that have been following me know what the golden phoenix is, but we're going to review that again, and we're going to dive into what that information feels like. And because it's two golden phoenix angles and a square, it has the configuration of a yod, meaning that it is a significant aspect. So we'll dive into that. There's also a gorgeous grand trine between the moon, Mars, and Chiron. Venus is making some interesting aspects. So is Uranus, and so is Jupiter and Mercury. Even though I didn't mention everybody in here, the entire chart I will discuss as we go through these aspects. So let's look at this full moon and mystic square. I started my trip the day before the new moon of this lunation. So I literally kind of sat this one out and alchemized the energy in a completely different way. This is the chart without any highlights on it. You can see all this mess in here. I mean, this is really quite amazing. I'm going to get my pen out for y'all. It's like just aspects everywhere, lots of squares. For those of you that don't know what this triangular deal in the bottom here, this is called an aspectarian, and it's a nice reference to see what's being aspected. And you reference the top with the left, and if there is a symbol and a number, then that means you have an aspect. So this is perfectly aligned to the exact opposition of the sun and moon at the precise time in my time zone. So this time might be different for you, as we've already seen with our Australian friends. They're experiencing it tonight. Okay. So that's that, but we are going to tease out all of this geometry, and it is really beautiful. There's some amazing challenges in here, but we are going to look at it as not something hard to do, but something that helps us grow and expand and evolve. So here it is, the first energy, the main reason why we're here, moon and Ophiuchus opposing sun in Taurus. That's right, guys. If you're studying tropical, just stay with us. These angles are exactly the same in tropical, but we're reading them with the true sky. See if it resonates with you, and run your own chart and see if there's any differences. But here's that first opposition. So those of you that are in Stellar Foundations, we did our office hours 2 last night. We went for 2.5 hours, and we went over all of these aspects. So those of you that are watching, this should be a very nice real world application of these aspects. So this is literally not just a full moon. It's the serpent's full moon. Ophiuchus holds the codes of healing through intensity, through surrender. And with Taurus involved, it's a body-based knowing, right? We have the sun in earthy, grounded Taurus, but we have the emotional, intuitive moon in the stars of the Akashic record of Gnosis of the Ascended Masters. we'd like to keep things sort of calm and sensory, but Ophiuchus will not let us stay asleep. How many people are having trouble staying asleep right now? You can get to sleep, but staying asleep's hard. And then when you have to wake up, it's really hard. So this opposition brings a friction between the known and the instinctual, between comfort and transformation, right? Taurus is the earth. It's what we know. It's what we feel good in. While Ophiuchus is the unknown. It's the darkness we have not illuminated yet. So the moon is going to call up the raw and the real and the things that we cannot ignore anymore. This is a bright light in the dark void of Ophiuchus. So you might feel physically activated, very, very energized right now. And that's not always easy. Your body's trying to metabolize repressed emotions also. Let that rise, let that move. And this is the gate to do that. This is the silver gate, golden gate energy. And when the moon and sun are aligned on the galactic and the solar system's ecliptic node here, the galactic center and the end of Taurus, Gemini, this is a powerful purging energy too. So you have to ask yourself, what are you still holding on to that no longer honors your path? That's what you need to if you need, what am I letting go of this lunation? Ask yourself that question and see if you can come up with something. Then we add this layer of intensity with the moon's nodes. So Rahu and Ketu are in a mystic square with the sun and the moon. You see that here on the aspectarian. Whenever you see these 4 squares together, that's what you get. So this is Rahu over here. And Ketu, or the south node, is now in Leo. Look at that. We have been doing, 2.5 years here of the south node in Virgo, just kind of bringing up all of that feminine, divine feminine, motherly trauma, asking us to remember that and integrate it and be comfortable in that, be comfortable in our imperfectness. And now we get to really revel in the innocent joy of being creative and, being loved by the creator. This is what we are called to remember here as this south node moves through Leo. And these nodes move clockwise. They go this way while all the luminaries move this way. So let's see what this feels like. So this is like a spiritual threshold of the lunation. When you've got this square, this moon, the moon's what's activating it because the moon's the fast body. This is the fastest one right here. So this is the trigger. This is the alchemy moment. As the moon passes through here, this mystic square breaks up. So it's a short mystic square. But this Rahu is still in Pisces, and Rahu is like driving us to let go and to surrender, which is a really weird feeling sometimes. It feels like you're processing grief, but you don't even know why. Like you're taking on people's trauma and injuries, and then you have the will to let them go. It's a very interesting energy. This is also almost over. We're at the last few degrees, and I think by July, Rahu will be in Aquarius. So this can really feel disorienting when the moon comes through here. You might feel pulled between what the world expects of you and what your spirit is actually calling you to do. This is a pressure of realignment. That's what this whole lunation was about. And I really didn't even realize it till I started looking at this full moon. And my whole trip, I didn't really do much astrology. I just sort of went and with the flow of the moment. And the moment I look at the astrology, I'm floored that this is exactly what I'm experiencing, a building up to this particular energy. So there's a part of us that wants to be adored and validated and seen as the one. But the decision is not necessarily external. It's energetic. It's inside of you. So you have to ask yourself, will you choose the old pattern or the path of soul integration? So these squares can feel like a tremendous cathartic moment too. Like, oh, there's a revealing and a relief there where you know exactly and precisely which way to go. As long as there isn't too much emotional trigger energy or ego energy involved. And that's really hard when you've got moon and sun and Leo energy. So it can be tough. It can be tough, but I think there's a lot of supporting energy in the rest of the astrology that that will help us through this. Here's another one that might be a little bit tough. The golden phoenix yod. So this is what it looks like. We have two phoenix angles, golden phoenix angles. One is between Sun and Pluto, and then Sun and Black Moon Lilith. While Black Moon Lilith represents that sort of unbridled, untamed, raw, dark, feminine, creative energy, the Sun is the outward expression of that. It's the like, I am, here I am, the fullest expression of your spiritual self. And then Pluto is digging deep in the underworld. These are all earth signs, right? This feels like something very earthy here. Let's see. So it's an initiating point of alchemical transformation. There's a fire here between Sun and Pluto because the Sun is fire and Pluto is also fire. So it feels like a fire and earth energy. Let's talk a little bit about the Phoenix angle before I feel into what this whole yod structure might be. One of you guys pointed this out to me, that the golden angle or the golden ratio is expressed by taking the ratio of these two arc lengths. So if you take the golden ratio, which is 1.618, such that these lengths equal that ratio, like if you were to divide this length over this length, their measurements, you would get 1.618. But when you do that on a circle, you get 2 points that you can draw an angle to. And this angle is 137.5, which is like, the fine structure constant and the phoenix constant. So we have this golden phoenix energy. And this is where it comes from. It just comes from geometry. It comes from the underlying code of the universe, which is really, really incredible. So let's dive into this. I have about 5 slides on this. This, like, the core meaning. I've been doing research, reading it in people's charts, getting feedback, trying to understand it. And this is some of what I've come up with here. So you get 2 of these in every cycle. So every lunar cycle with the sun, you get 2 of these. Every Sun to Jupiter cycle, the yearly cycle with Sun to Jupiter, you'll get 2 of these angles. So it's a moment of purification, crisis, and renewal regarding the energy of the 2 luminaries that you're talking about. Now, depending on how quickly it is or how long it lasts, there can be a deep transformation as old structures must dissolve. And like the phoenix rising from the ashes, this demands a radical rebirth. Now, when we say radical, I'm not meaning like burn the whole thing down. Radical just means that it starts at the root of something when we say radical. So like you go down to the roots, you pick up the roots, and then you replant it. So it's a radical rebirth in that way. It can bring surrender moments, spiritual awakenings, aha moments, and breakdown of old cycles. There's dynamics of the Phoenix angle too. So this is something that really can't be stopped. It can't be ignored. It burns away what no longer serves so that nothing unnecessary remains. And so what this does for you is it builds into your astrology, your flow with the energy, the major breakthroughs that we often get after an intense crisis. So it comes after the square and before the trine. And so I just think that's really, really interesting that there's these waves of smaller energies that you can ride through the whole cycle of the 2 luminaries that you're considering. And you really have to trust this process. And I think what it comes down to is a flow state. When you are creating every moment or co-creating every moment with source, when you're in a flow state like that, these energies just happen and they serve you. They help you. They bring you the things that you need to evolve and create and to experience and to walk your highest path. So emotionally, it might feel like a deep release, confronting shadow, surrendering, Externally, this is what happens in your field when these internal things happen. You have sudden collapses, jobs, relationships, belief structures may fall away. There can be healing, like intense breakthroughs in spiritual work, kundalini activations. And the symbolism is the phoenix, the destruction that leads to the rebirth. So here's some keywords. If you see a phoenix angle, or if y'all want to add it to your chart, let me know. I can help you set up Prometheus Capricorn to do that. And you can use these keywords with this angle if you see it and want to work with it. It's death and rebirth, alchemy, transmutation, purging and detoxification, spiritual fire and awakening, and breaking through the old self, and emergence from the crisis. This is like this is an energy we just can't stop. I think this is what this is more like the code underlying those transformational moments that we all have to go through. And if we can like break it down and be really aware of it, we can stop ourselves and keep ourselves from spiraling into, darkness and victim mentality and feeling terrible. There are other angles that are tough as well, but I don't think we have to go into those. So the way you work with the phoenix is to don't resist the change. Just understand that whatever is transforming is happening for you and not to you. Because as you go through an awakening process, you are realigning with your true self. So the things that you're attached to are going to get disrupted. It's an amazing process. It's almost magical. It's the alchemy of the external world unfolding before your eyes. This is why you see synchronicities when you begin the awakening process. So trust this process. Laugh at it. The collapse is literally clearing the way for you to have new things. Engage in deep healing. Let the shadow work, let it immerse you. Let it go over you. Do fasting, breath work, ritual purification. Just lean into that intensity and use it as fuel for your next stage of evolution. Like grow and learn in spite of it. I believe it or not, I had some people that when I was transitioning from someone who was an artist and a theater major and a musician to someone who wanted to be a scientist and a physician and a doctor, a lot of my friends and coworkers sort of like, really? Are you sure you're smart enough to do this? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get into medical school in spite of what you say. Like that instead of letting them hurt me, I said, oh, well, hold my beer. I'll show you. So this golden phoenix, this golden phoenix yod between Sun, Pluto, and Black Moon Lilith. Let me give you this insight because this is the second challenging energy I think we're going to feel. So this is like the solar retrieval of the shadow feminine and the corrupted masculine. I don't mean to, play sides or anything like that, but this is certainly what our collective is healing. It gives us the chance to see clearly how power, desire, repression, and embodiment are all linked. And if we can hold the change without flinching, this formation births new life, like a phoenix from within the earth herself. We call this the golden phoenix yod. It's not a traditional yod with two quincunxes and a sextile, but it carries the energy of divine ignition. The hot, fiery sun in Taurus is the stabilizer here, but also the initiator. And these golden angles, 137.5 degrees, connected to that Fibonacci spiral, to Phi, to the geometry of resurrection. And when the sun touches Pluto and Black Moon Lilith at this sacred angle, it's reactivating something ancient and something very precise. So it's not easy, right? Pluto's in retrograde in Capricorn, pulling us back through systems of control and inherited trauma. Lilith in Virgo is the priestess energy that's been cut off, silenced, or even pathologized. Their square isn't subtle either between Pluto and Black Moon Lilith. It creates a live wire of tension. And the sun steps into this with intention, bringing consciousness to the parts of us that we were taught to fear. Isn't that interesting? So this is the kind of energy that we can feel hot in the body, intense in the nervous system, and illuminating in ways that might feel extremely uncomfortable. But if you can stay with it, if you can breathe with it, this becomes a channel of transmutation. A new architecture is possible, built on truth and not repression. So ask yourself the question, This is earth and fire. Remember, how can you hold the fire without turning away from the reflection, from the brightness, from the darkness that you may actually see? Whew, so let's get into some good energy, because this moon opposing sun in Ophiuchus square the nodes, and that golden angle yod, that with the square between Pluto and Black Moon, just really feel like there's an intense opening up here that is going to be difficult for a lot of people. So let's see what supports this energy. This one right here, I think, is my favorite. This is going to be Mars, Moon, and Chiron in a grand trine. So we have Chiron and Pisces, the wounded healer, but this is also where we're great. We're healing the collective. We are unifying our collective consciousness towards a greater purpose, towards a higher good. We are certainly doing that. And we are doing it through our intuitive gifts that we receive from Source. And we're taking action on it in a loving way that is connected to our heart space. So it's water with Pisces, it's ether with Ophiuchus, and it's fire with Leo. And it's all connected to the moon, which is why it's important for this particular lunation. So it's healing, it's courage, it's soul memory. The moon is, again, it's going to be quick. So as it moves through Ophiuchus, this grand trine will break away. But while it's in a grand trine, this is a current. This is a cosmic flow. It brings a knowing through the body, through the gut, through the pulse, not speaking in words, just moving in sensation. And when there is a harmony with Chiron and Mars, something really sacred gets unlocked here. There's an ocean of memory around Chiron right now, being in Pisces, connected to the wounds of everybody. We're all wounded. We all have it. Nobody's got more wounds than anybody else. We all feel it. Because when someone else is wounded, if I see somebody that's hurt, I hurt as well. When I'm hurting, people hurt too. So we all feel it. And it reminds us that pain is not just something to fix. It is something to feel, to honor, to trace back to its origin. And then Mars says, let's do something about it, right? So it's the willpower of the heart and the courage to act on what it is revealed. So these 3 points form a trine that I feel like opens a healing gate. You know, these elements work in resonance. It's like a hot mist, you know, water and fire makes a mist that we can see clearly through with the moon here. So yeah, you have to move with it. You have to live with it. You have to feel it to transmute it. You have to act on it to anchor. So if those, excuse me, if those difficult aspects bring up stuff for you as this moon peaks, you know, or stuff comes up in the coming days, feel it, lean into it. This trine is here to support that. And I think the breakthroughs that come when we work with Ophiuchus and we face that darkness are just tremendous. Okay, there's some other nice energies. Even though Venus is playing some mischief with Pluto and Black Moon Lilith, she is also in a Phoenix angle to the South Node. Now, this golden angle between Venus and Ketu is a cosmic reminder that true value has nothing to do with approval. Okay? Venus in Aries is assertive. She's raw. She's instinctual. If you have not seen the Venus through Aries video that I transmitted last week, go check that out. I give you all her aspects through this past weekend and coming up in the coming weeks. She's actually, and I also go into this angle in great detail. So when this angle forms with the South Node in Leo, we're igniting something karmic that may have been stuck in the performance loop, like something you just do because you're supposed to do it. And so how did we used to earn love? By shining, by performing, by standing on a stage. But Venus wants us to break this pattern. It's a moment of feminine expression. Can you let the fire burn off what is false and still trust your worth? So can you have that vulnerable creative outburst? That's the question. So it's not about whether anybody else likes it. It's about being true. It's about being in your authentic space. It's about burning off that creative energy that Venus in Aries awakens. It's heat, it's honesty, and it's daring to want more. So the question for Venus in this golden angle to K2 is, can you love without performing? The next angle is Venus opposing Black Moon Lilith and square to Pluto. So this is that T square that we see here. And this is a little bit more long lasting than the T square between the sun and moon and the nodes. This is going to last a day or two longer. It is waning off. Okay, this is just here we go. This is this energy. So here we see Venus in a full confrontation with shadow. Okay, opposing Black Moon Lilith in Virgo, staring down the archetype of the uncontained feminine. Right. This Black Moon Lilith is saying, I know what I want in my body, and I do not need you to agree. And Venus in Aries is basically says back, across the chart here, let's watch me move. Let's do this. So, but this can feel like a tension between taking the action and being self-doubt, right? That Virgo self-doubt can creep in. And here's Pluto between the two of them, like a dark overlord or something, pulling on the threads of shame and legacy and control. And so if you're feeling emotional intensity, sudden doubts, relationship drama, flare-ups in the self-worth, this is the configuration behind it. It's not here to destroy you. It's not here to make you feel bad. It's here to give you an opportunity to say, whatever, man, I need to let this out. I need to let this creative energy out. It's not personal. It's literally just the archetypes. It's what they're asking you to do. They're asking you to hold this frequency of your power, even when it gets uncomfortable. And so I think if we can do that, like even if our programming says shrink, perform, hide, like don't, stay, breathe, do it, go through it. You know? So yeah, so the sun is saying like see this and witness this, and Venus is saying like feel this and move through this. Okay, so don't be scared about these angles. If something, I'm just kind of giving you guys a heads up. You may have already had something sort of get you in the feels, and this is the energy behind it. But that grand trine is here for healing, and you have to just stay the course. Walk through the valley of the shadow of death in a way, right? And the question for this T square is, will you collapse or rise through the pressure? So now that you have an awareness through it, if you want to collapse, that's okay too. Like there's no judgment, but there's going to be one or the other, and something will change. Something will shift here with this aspect and with this moon. All right, Uranus. Crazy Uncle Dave, as my friend Maria Schumacher says, calls Uranus. Uranus is that crazy, freedom-loving, revolutionary sort of Joker of the zodiac. Like whatever you don't expect it with this energy. It's nervous system energy. You can be really fried and frazzled with Uranus. Uranus is, out there with the larger planets on the edge of the solar system, receiving cosmic wisdom and bringing us new ideas and new ways to do things. With an 84-year orbit, not really anything lunar going on other than Uranus making a trine back to the south node. So, Uranus has something to say about this lunation because of this trine to the south node, which is pretty long lasting. This is a longer aspect because both the south node and Uranus move pretty slowly. Now, Uranus is also in a trine to Pluto, and right between Pluto and Uranus is this conjunction of Saturn and Neptune, creating this sort of trine sextile energy, which is very, very supportive. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that geometry, and also one more very interesting T square that we have to deal with. And then I promise you, we will end this on a positive note because there is alchemy here. So let's start with this first one. This is Uranus trining onto retrograde Pluto, in a sextile to Neptune and Saturn, while Neptune and Saturn are also sextile to Pluto. On the aspectarian, you can see that here. Uranus sextile to Saturn, Neptune and Saturn conjunct, Pluto sextile to Saturn, and Uranus and Neptune in a trine. So this is a nice supportive aspect. This is like the cradle of evolution, right? There's radical change and deep transformation here with both Pluto and Uranus in a trine. This is a flow of what it is these planets like to do. Pluto in Capricorn wants to break down things that no longer serve us from the very foundation. It wants to destroy the ego of Capricorn, which is trying to be the best and better than everyone else. And then Uranus is there to pull the bull out of the muck and make the bull walk a new path. So this is a flow of that energy, that transformation, that individuation, that evolution and revolution. So this is like architecture of transcendence here. You have Saturn and Neptune here. They are like mediating between the tension of Uranus and Taurus and Pluto and Capricorn. They're like, I almost feel like they're the old souls sort of observing all this change, the old teachers that never really interfere and never really give you praise. But when you do the great thing, when you do the thing that takes the higher path, you think of the old man with the tear in the corner of his eye because his student finally got it, even though he really didn't have to teach the student. He just had to kind of show them the path. And so this feels like this energy. I feel like all the OGs are creating this really supportive basket of change and guidance. But we have to take a moment with spirit to do that. We have to take time for ourselves with self-reflection so that we can really get into that energy. So yeah, the elders are watching. And so you want to ask yourself, what are you going to build with this, right? The long-term change is really what this aspect is. It's going to be with us for quite a while. The next one is this final T-square. I promise you no more T-squares, but there are a lot of squares on the board. And here we have Uranus in a T-square to asteroid Lilith and Mars in Leo. And this is a direct challenge to you to consciously break the loop, to push on your programming, to find out where the polarities and the inconsistencies are, and use your personal and assertive will to find new and interesting ways to defy, to become rebellious, but in a way that's constructive and helpful for the collective. So we are being called to shatter the safety mechanisms we unconsciously uphold. But the liberation must come from a new sense of logic, one that honors the intelligence of both heart-centered action and detached perspective. So this is about transcending that binary, that polarity entirely. So think of this lunation as going inward, reflecting on inconsistencies, polarities, inauthentic energies in your life, and simply making the wish to realign to that sacred gnosis, and saying, yes, thank you. And so it is with the gratitude. And then watch what happens, because you're going to be served up an opportunity to shatter your own paradigms here, I think. And so this is always very nice. Uranus really just wants us to evolve. And he says, okay, find a constructive way to use your inner rebelliousness and your ability to act with heart. And so that's I think what this square really means for us. All right. Slide 33. Isn't that interesting? We're not decoding this at this time. I haven't sat down with the codes yet. This is the question you can ask yourself with the T-square for Mars opposed asteroid Lilith with Uranus. Can you lead with your heart without abandoning your logic? All right. The final aspect with Uranus is a trine to the south node. So a nice aspect, an aspect we can feel good with, an aspect that we can flow with. And really, I just have one thought for this, and that is to remember your divinity. Whenever I see Leo energy, I always think of that childlike, creation of God, where God loves his children so much, where if you have the innocence and the purity of a child, you will enter the kingdom of heaven. I think it's Matthew 18:3 or 18:30. But I always get that vibe when I get an energy of something just moving into Leo like this, and then Uranus connecting to it with a trine. Remember, even though you're physical, even though you're weird and you're different and you're strange, there's nothing wrong with you. It's your divinity. So just remember that. That's what that aspect means. And finally, we'll pull this all full circle with Mercury and Jupiter. And I think I just have one slide on these guys. Yeah. So let's just summarize everything that Jupiter's doing. Jupiter is not connected in any way to the moon, the sun, or the lunar nodes, except that sun is approaching Jupiter, but is commenting on everything else that is attached to the moon, the nodes, or the sun in some way. So Jupiter is expansive benefic energy, and it has just moved into Gemini. So I gave you guys a transmission from the desert about Jupiter moving into Gemini and how it works with your own natal Saturn. So if you know where your natal Saturn is, go check out that video and watch it for this Gemini information. Because 12 years ago, Jupiter did this before. So think in your own life, what happened to you 12 years ago, there's going to be a repeat of that energy. And Jupiter is in the house of Mercury. Mercury rules Gemini. Mercury is now conjunct Jupiter. So imagine Mercury sitting in his house, sitting in his palace or his hotel of Gemini. Lots of things are going on. Information's moving around, a lot of tech, a lot of young people, a lot of coffee. Everyone's communicating. And then all of a sudden, the big daddy guru walks in. And it's like, let's expand this. Let's make this bigger. Let's make this more energetic. And so we have these two characters together having a moment, right? They're opening a portal of expansive thought, cosmic curiosity, and joyful communication. It's like the jester meets the philosopher and the trickster meets the sage. It's lighthearted, but it's not shallow. It's playful, and it's also deeply encoded. So this energy first makes a sextile to Venus. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say about Mercury and Jupiter and Gemini is laughter. Language is magic and laughter is medicine. So if you find yourself in a tough space in the next few days or during the rest of this lunation, try to find something funny about it, because Jupiter will bless you if you do that. Jupiter is in Gemini to learn, to expand, and to have fun. He's not here to be down. He's not here to be upset. He can be a little over talkative here, but that's okay. There's a sextile to Venus while Venus is in Aries. So the square that Venus has to Pluto, the opposition to Black Moon Lilith, and that Phoenix angle back to the South Node can be ameliorated with the generous and beautiful energy of Jupiter and Mercury, with intellectual sparks and passionate expression. So when something comes along in your creative fields, say it, speak it. Language is magic, okay? Now, Jupiter and Mercury will also have a square to Neptune and Saturn that are in a conjunction. This is, again, this has already come up, but it's saying, yes, this is supported. Use quiet time to commune with spirit, not to escape, to let those conversations in your head actually play out and allow the wisdom to respond. There's a trine to asteroid Lilith asking you to reclaim your weird and honor your originality. And then the final trine is to Black Moon Lilith in Virgo, to speak deep truth about your needs without apology. So I think if we channel this Jupiter Mercury energy in Gemini, not Cancer, okay, because Jupiter did not go into Cancer. Jupiter is just in Gemini. We get laughter as medicine. We get language as magic. We get an expansion in knowledge and understanding. And I think it supports all these other luminaries as they have, moments where things need to be uprooted and, reworked. So that's the presentation. Let me do one final reflection just to wrap this up. If I can find it. Let's see. All right. I have another video for you guys to watch too. So it'll be the white sands of New Mexico as we drove through that. Maybe we'll make it a little faster. Can we do that? Speed. Yeah. How long is it? 4 minutes? Good. All right, guys. Thanks for taking this journey with me. There comes a moment when you feel it, when like the pressure builds, the outer world no longer fits, and something inside of you says, this is not me anymore. It's that moment that's not always loud. And sometimes it comes as a whisper. Sometimes it comes as a still moment that asks, will you keep pretending or will you finally listen? And we all come to these crossroads. And when we do, we have a choice. We can react like martyrs, dragging ourselves through situations that drain us, hoping something or someone will change in our favor. Or we can flip the switch entirely. We can stop asking why it hurts and start asking what it's showing us. That's the moment of self-truth telling. Maybe it's the job you worked so hard to get. It made sense at one point. It gave you structure, identity, and income. But now it feels empty. The spark is gone. You feel the heaviness every morning and keep telling yourself to push through. Or maybe it's the relationship you've outgrown. You love the person, you share the history, but something deeper in you knows the connection is no longer aligned. It used to feel like home, and now it feels like a pattern. And this is when that martyr voice says, hold on, you should be grateful. You owe it to them. But the soul says, you are allowed to evolve. So the truth is, things don't have to be falling apart to no longer be right for you. Sometimes they're just simply complete. You're done with it. You're finished. And you're not broken for wanting more. You're not selfish for needing space to grow. You're not wrong for changing. The inner shift always comes first. It's when we realign inside, and it's when life begins to mirror that shift, not the other way around. When we choose honesty over habit, the world responds. Not always right away and not always easily, but it absolutely does respond. So this is the invitation to choose the conscious evolution over silent endurance, to stop waiting for the outside world to grant you the permission and start responding to the truth already alive within you. Growth will always ask something of you, but it will also give you something in return. A life that fits you, a life that reflects who you are now, not who you were when you first put the pieces in place. So the choice is yours. Stay in what's safe and small, or take the leap into what's unknown but true. And either way, your soul will keep calling you. Look at that. We end it with a sunset. Oh my goodness. So you guys can see I've had a beautiful time in the desert, just reconnecting with myself and my partner, and I'm back to reconnect with you guys. How was that for you? Did y'all enjoy that? Oh my gosh, there's 49 watching. Welcome, everybody. Awesome. Let's see if you guys have questions. Let's see if anybody has some fun placements. Let's see. Desiree loves the bling, Dr. D. Michelle Curtis from Australia. Let's see. Desiree, thanks for posting those links. It's awesome. Vivian Slinent said, watched you on Archaics and was blown away. Well, thank you. I have more to show that guy about astrology. And I'd actually love to get him over here to teach us the history of astrology too. Chat with Mary Mystic Lorna says, hello from hot Oregon. Happy to catch a life alive. Lots of wild stuff here in the public. Let's see. Jeffrey Critchley has a birthday coming up. Awesome. Happy solar return. That's wonderful. Teresa Substell's here. Fellow Traveler says, crisis is great for growth. Yes, it is. But I think there's a way with astrology or with living in the flow that you can kind of interrupt that crisis. And what happens is you get to witness others' crises. I know that sounds weird. But But sometimes I do this. Sometimes I will take 2 weeks out and off of everything, and I just try to live in flow, and what I notice is that when I come back from that mental retreat, is that there's a whole lot of other dramas that I get to sort of learn from and watch to also, kind of internalize and empathize with. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, like yucky trauma. I mean, yes, things still happen, but um, let's see. Crisis can be great for growth. Seema Dragon's here. Hello, hello. Christine Yan says, bam. Thank you. Chet Davis says, any Carl Monk fans in here? He tapped into ancient patterns that you all might enjoy. I'm not familiar with that, but yeah, I'd be willing to check it out. Phoenix of Georgia says, I feel on the edge of bursting into 1 trillion pieces. It's there. You're not bursting. It just feels like it. And Jeffrey Critchley says, yeah, that quiet scream is building rapidly. Yeah, so you guys are tapping into this. You're resonating with this. Sometimes when these transmissions come through, I'm like, man, I must be crazy. There's so much nasty here, but I don't feel it. But I'm getting that feedback from you guys, from clients, from friends, and from some of the YouTube stuff that I watch. One of the things that I've noticed, you guys, is that a lot of like community leaders out there are kind of meeting their own karma in ways like they're going through transformations where any part of their life or presentation that was false or inauthentic with who they truly were got disrupted. So I've noticed that this month in people that I've watched on YouTube. So some of you may be experiencing that as well. Chet says Uranus is in Taurus is a true pill. I think it's a pill. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. A lot of things are going to change. Fellow traveler says, sing it, Danny. Chet Davis says, I always change the backyard birds water at 6 a.m. I am an Aries. As an Aries, I know nature comes first. Makes sense? I hope you guys did enjoy that. I think there's a positive message in the tough energy. I think whatever tough energy you guys are going through, that know that it's going to be okay, that it is temporary. I even, get into a spin sometimes with the stuff that I deal with, and I have to wake myself up and go, oh my gosh, I'm so lucky. I need to be grateful and I need to make the changes I need to make. So I'll be doing that. Fellow traveler says, amazing. We love you. Nis says hi and sending lots of love. Back at you, dollface. Ultimate says, such amazing panoramas. It really was. You had to be there. Monday born mentality says, how will this full moon affect people with Ophiuchus sun placement? Missed the office hours yesterday. So if your sun is in Ophiuchus and this is a full moon in Ophiuchus, you are halfway through your solar lunar cycle. So this is a full moon for your solar lunar cycle, the swelling of your solar lunar cycle, and also a full moon. So a lot of big energy, a lot of purging, a lot of reconnecting with spirit, a halfway point between your year cycle, a sixth house new moon and a 12th house full moon. So this is spirit. This is definitely reconnecting with spirit for you guys. Jennifer Jean says, 12 years ago in Jupiter and Gemini, I left my husband. Not sure what it will bring this time around. LOL, been a hermit for many years. Well, then it may bring an expansion in something, a change in your relationships. It'd be interesting to see like where your Gemini was, what house it's in, or if Venus is nearby or making an interesting aspect to your Gemini. Christina Yan said, loved Red Rock in southern Utah. Yeah, it's so beautiful. I wanted to get the Zion pictures, but they're still on that little dongle that we pulled them from our phones. But I'll be posting some more videos. The Zion videos were so cool. We did Zion exactly the right way. Kaki is here from sunny Florida. Thanks for coming. Phoenix, Georgia. Hello from Madison, Indiana. Hello, my love. Thanks for coming. Ultimus asks, doesn't the phoenix need to burn to become reborn? Absolutely. But I don't know if they like, I guess the burning is part of it, that dispersing and then coalescing back to form. Grace232 says, glad you had such a great trip. Thank you. Me too. Jeffrey Critchell's in Tarzali, FNQ. Christine Yan is selling the house and looking forward to September. Awesome. You guys are so cool. Thanks so much for hanging out with me and welcoming me back into the live stream energy. We are going to do another live stream on Friday. It's going to be a couple of modern magicians. We're going to do an expert panel. Because of all this expansive energy of Jupiter moving into a new sign, and the next lunation, Venus is going to be moving into this energy as well. It's going to be amazing. We're going to talk about expansion for the next 3 months, because I believe there's a cycle of expansion that's coming for everybody. And there's a dark side to expansion. So Verone Bright will be joining me. She is an acupuncturist, healer, oracle, astrologer. She'll be joining and talking about healing modalities, things that you can tap into while you're working with this Jupiter energy. And then Jeffrey is a financial worker, spiritual worker, and bioenergetics professional. So he helps you with your finances and the energy and emotions, alignment, vibration with abundance. It's really, really interesting. So to have him on to talk about the Jupiter expansion will be really, really nice. So I hope you guys will join us on Friday. That'll be around 12 or 1 p.m. our time. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, get the book Ophiuchus. Join us on the fellowship of 13 Sign Astrology over on Facebook. Like this video if you enjoyed the content, please. It helps the algorithm. You know, there's so many new AI channels out there that have fake subscribers that are literally veiling me from thousands, if not tens of thousands of people that might benefit from this information. So the more love the videos get, the more YouTube shows me to people. So I appreciate you guys for that. And then also join the channel if you want to support this work. You guys will get videos first. I'm working on a series for you with planetary cycles. And then also Stellar Foundation students, stay tuned tomorrow for a quick teaching video that will be just for you guys. All right. Okay, beautiful souls. Thanks again for joining me. I'm so happy and grateful to have you here with me. And I look forward to seeing you all on Friday. And then, of course, all the beautiful content that we're going to create. Take care, you guys. We'll just listen to this.